welcome in to the Plano High School, where the Plano Reapers will be facing off against the Lisle Lions in conference basketball tonight. Now we send you down to the PA announcer for Plano's starting lineups.
At the other guard, a 6-foot senior, number 11, Lisle. At the third guard, a 5'8", senior, number 24, Gillen. At a 4, a 6'2", junior, number 33, Mark McGrath. At the other forward, a 6-foot senior, number 35, Alvaro Gutierrez.
Well, starting for the Lisle Lions, 5, Derek Redmond, Nick Masura, number 11, number 24, Ryan Gillen, number 33, Mark McGrath, and number 35, Alberto Gutierrez. Well, those are your starting lineups for Plano. Number 3, David McKinney. Number 5, Marcus Ramirez. Number 22, Elijah Masonette. Number 23, Anthony Martinez. And number 24, Will Benson. We have a very exciting conference basketball coming up tonight. Evan, what do you think about it?
Yes, we do. Two teams who aren't known so much for their height, but definitely for their speed are going to be driving to the basket. We're going to see two teams who are very equal in speed. And it's honestly going to be pretty neck and neck for this game, I can tell you right now.
I'm really excited for it. Looking at both head coaches before we tip off here, Plano's team is led by third-year coach Kyle Key, and Lisle's team is led by 10th-year coach Mark Lascala. Just to put it in perspective, Lisle's currently 5-1 in conference, and Plano in conference is 4-2. So I'd say they're evenly matched.
Well, very much so. These teams are fighting for who can own the conference later on in the season.
Absolutely. Here we see David McKinney working his way down court. Putting it into the hands of Ramirez. Back to McKinney. Will Benson now trying to fight off the screen. Ball goes to McKinney now. McKinney trying to lay it up for two. Can't quite get it. Ball was rebounded by number 33, Mark McGrath of Lisle. Put back to McGrath. Masura now with the ball. Calling for Redmond to go across court. Passes the ball over to Redmond. Back to Masura. Very early on, we're starting to see some strength coming out of Plano's defense. Let's see if Lisle can get around it as Redmond has the ball. Picking up the screen by McKinney. Masura putting the ball over to Gillen. Back to Redmond. Back to Gillen. Gillen trying to put it up for three. And that's David McKinney with the rebound.
3 shots, one that you will see tonight, but it's not a go-to for either team. So you won't exactly expect to see a lot of those go in.
I guess if both teams are either confident or they have an open shot, they'll be expecting to take some three-point shots, but it all comes down to what is going on to the player at the moment. Shot was made by number 24, Will Benson of Plano. As he picks up a foul, though. That's going to be his first, but shot's not going to count. McGrath putting the ball over to Redmond. Redmond driving up lane. Getting blocked up there by Martinez. Call is going to be against Anthony Martinez. It's his first. As Derek Redmond from Lisle misses the first free throw. He's got another one to go.
Plano already racking up 2 fouls, both in the paint.
Redmond's second shot bounces out. And the ball's taken out of bounds by Mark McGrath. Gonna go into Plano's position now. Ramirez putting the ball off to McKinney, back court. Martinez putting the ball to Ramirez. Martinez trying to put it up, couldn't quite follow that one up. Redmond driving up lane. Showing off a bit of speed, but gets blocked up there.
That was a big block coming from Lyle's Mark McGrath. He's a defensive powerhouse in the paint for Lisle. Expect to see more of him.
Here we go. We have Ryan Gillen now with the ball, putting it to the corner. That was to Nick Masura. Now he carries the ball. Back to Masura. Fakes out Ramirez. Ball went to Redmond. Masura again taking a three-point shot. Nothing but net there for Masura. Early three-pointer for Lisle. 6 minutes remain here in the first as Ramirez holds on to the ball. Putting the ball now over to McKinney. Will Benson bringing the ball around the arc, passing it back to McKinney. McKinney passing it to Anthony Martinez. And he made a two-point shot right there. Very impressive ball handling from Plano right there. Trying to see him going around the arc like that was really impressive.
Well, I think Lisle, who, like I said earlier, normally isn't a team that steps out, has seen a team that is kind of equal to them in stopping that fast-paced motion inside. And have resorted to relying on some of their sharpshooters around the outside. And it's been working so far.
It's a really good thing to do. And just to put that into perspective, that was Anthony Martinez making that free throw. Current score now, Plano 3, Lisle 3, as Redmond puts the ball over to Jashawn Stevens. Ramirez working his way up lane. And we call a double dribble against him. Redmond taking a bit of time coming down. Masura with another fake out.
We saw that strong drive and that Euro step to try to push it in, but unfortunately for McGrath, just couldn't make room for himself.
That's going to be David's McKinney first foul of the game, and Plano already racking up 4 fouls with about 5 minutes here in the first period.
Well, 2 of them have been offensive. Drawing that charge, a very smart heads-up player is Gutierrez for Lisle.
That's Gutierrez right there, trying to put it up for 2, couldn't quite get it. That was Martinez with the rebound.
He's another line to watch. You see right there, he went from a smart defensive play to getting himself open on the other side of the court.
And here we go. Ball goes to Ramirez. To McKinney. McKinney trying to get around Redmond, proving to be a defensive challenge to get around. Will Benson putting the ball up for 2 more points. Redmond now with the ball, putting it over to Gillen. Gillen getting around, putting the ball to Gutierrez. Finally getting that one to fall.
Rushed pass.
Ramirez holding onto the ball though. Trying to work his way around, but ref's gonna be calling that against Lisle, I do believe. The shot was made good though by Marcus Ramirez. And that was a call against Ryan Gillen of Lisle. It's gonna be his first and the team's second. Coming in for Plano, we see number 32, Marcus McKinney. Ramirez was at the line, sinking that free throw. 8-5, Plano in the lead. Redmond making his way down court. Sneaky pass over to Alberto Gutierrez, and Gutierrez makes the shot good.
Well, Lisle known for heads-up play like that and a lot of great passing.
You've kind of seen a lot of impressive ball handling from around the arc. Little misstep there from Plano that allowed Ryan Gillen to get away with that breakaway. 2 points put on the board for Lisle, though. As I was saying, what we've seen at least, Plano has some pretty exceptional ball handling from around the arc. They can have a player be waiting on the outside if they go bring it into the paint and they lose control of it. And when they have the opportunity, they'll drive it to the net and they'll put 2 points on the board for themselves. As we see this timeout being called by Lisle.
So far, Lisle defensively is, kind of leading this game, which is more of a shock that the scoreboard is so close so far with already a block, 2 steals. You know, we've only been into this game so much. It's shocking that the lead isn't bigger when they're having such a defensive presence so far already.
A star that's kind of sticking out to me, is Derek Redmond from Lisle. He's small, but he has the speed, and he's everywhere that his team needs him to be.
And he's one of those guys who just is able to read the entire court at once. Great heads-up player, and we saw it down low, him getting that great pass off. That's his style of game plan, is just finding a space in the defense and pushing through. If he can't make it, he's making that smart pass to dish it back out and reset the play.
Absolutely. Here we go. Lisle's on the offense now. You can expect to see Alberto Gutierrez. Putting the ball in. Nick Masura to Redmond. Redmond calling for Masura. Gillen with the ball back to Redmond. Back to Gillen. Over to Masura now. McKinney trying to pick up a screen on Masura. Masura gets the ball over to Redmond, who puts the ball over to Gutierrez. Trying to sink a 3, couldn't quite go in. Gutierrez with the rebound. Trying to drive through, but takes a step out. That was Mark McGrath.
A little bit of a push. Looks like that's going to be Plano's 5th foul. That one getting picked up by 32 Marcus McKinney. So it's his first, but Plano's 5th.
Plano's playing a dangerous game tonight, considering how many fouls they already have in the first period. It's 5 fouls to Lisle's 2, and it's only 2.5 minutes remaining in the first period.
Well, they're a physical team, that's for sure.
Well, missing the layup there, that was Sergio Chavez. Masura holding onto the ball, putting it over to O'Connell. Masura now with the ball, looking for somebody to pass to. Back to O'Connell, holding onto the ball now. That's Ryan Gillen, back to Masura. Masura to Brian O'Connell. Brian O'Connell trying to find a way around Ramirez. Couldn't quite do that as he passed the ball off to Gillen. Gillen puts the ball off to Masura. Back to Gillen, back to O'Connell.
The Reaper Zone defense is doing some magic right here, shutting down a team that normally can't be shut down.
Got to be careful when you get in the paint, though. Luckily for Plano, Nick Masura missed that one. As Sergio Chavez brings it back into Plano territory. David McKinney now with the ball, getting it stolen away by Ryan Gillen. Ryan Gillen trying to put it up for 2. David McKinney blocking.
For Lisle's defense, mainly being run by Ryan Gillen, who's now just picked up his 2nd steal of the night. Lisle's feeding off that fast tempo, trying to push towards the basket after a fast transition.
That's fine, and that 3-pointer was made by Brian O'Connell. With the ball now, it's Brandon Contreras trying to find a way around Gillen. Very heads-up player. You were just talking about that as ball falls in for Plano. That was shot made good by Marcus Ramirez. 1 minute remaining here in the first period. Plano 10, Lisle 12. It's Stitt passing the ball to O'Connell. Ball kind of rolling off his foot there, but he picking it back up. That was Gillen. Stitt now. Stitt trying to find a way up lane. Getting blocked up by Marcus McKinney. Ball being driven down lane. That's Sergio Chavez. Not quite going in, but that was Brian O'Connell taking a little spill there from Lisle. And coming in for Lisle, that's number 20, Grant Hayne.
Brian O'Connell will pick up that foul. Didn't quite get his feet set to try and draw the charge. That'll be his first, Lions' third.
Chavez puts his first shot up. Ball does a bit of thinking after it falls in there. Lyle still leads 12-11. Sergio Chavez can tie it up in the first period. Just before the end of it is 36 seconds remain here. Couldn't quite do that. Covering the ball there, that's Elijah Masonette.
Big offensive rebound for Plano. They can take the lead if they can figure out something to do here.
Now you were talking about Ryan Gillen and how he's picked up 2 steals already on the defense. Certainly a very strong defensive player for Lisle. He's really heads up. You were talking also about how Lyle's a really heads up team. He's probably one of the strongest players we've seen tonight.
Kid's built like someone who normally goes under the basket and pulls down just about every single rebound, but he uses that speed when he steps out and, you know, any guard wants to try to set up a play up front. He's not going to let him sit there and think. He's going to go and get that ball, and some teams just aren't used to that, and obviously we see Plano is struggling with that a lot. He's not the only one who's picked up a steal tonight. Number 5, Redmond has pulled out a pretty nice slick steal in the same situation. It's just heads-up defense.
Redmond's also a very strong defensive player. I'm sure we'll see some of that before the period ends as Anthony Martinez gets that ball up for 2.
Basket by 23, Anthony Martinez. He'll go to the line, trying to complete a 3-point play.
So Lyle's going to draw its 4th foul.
Martinez couldn't quite make anything of that free throw. Trevor Stitt now working his way down into Plano's court. 20 seconds remain here in the first period. Plano just barely in the lead, holding on by just a point, 13-12 over the Lisle Lions. O'Connell now with the ball, back to Stitt. Gillen now. Oh, it's not Gillen, pardon me, that was Hayne. Gutierrez getting double teamed by both Elijah Masonette and Marcus McKinney. 4.6 seconds remain in the first as Masonette draws his first foul in Plano's 6th of the half. Gutierrez from the line. Draining his first shot, tying the game up. Gutierrez taking one more shot and draining it. Plano will have just enough time to make either one more play or a final shot of desperation here as the period ticks down to 2 seconds now. That's the final shot of desperation. Can't quite go in. Well, at the end of your first period here, Lyle's leading over Plano 14-13. We're going to go to a commercial break. Keep it here on Fox Valley TV.
Ah, it's a great day, isn't it?
Yeah. Too bad your boat's gonna sink at 11:05.
Don't come closer. I have rabies. Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, a simple blood test that helps measure your risk of serious complications. Learn more at diabetesaonc.org.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups. So always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Welcome back to Fox Valley TV. If you're just joining us, it's the second period. You're watching the Lisle Lions face off against the Plano Reapers. Lyle's currently in the lead by just a point, 14-13. And alongside me tonight is Evan Wiseman.
Yeah, Tom mentioned the game. It's pretty good so far. Very, well, tied up and even, so it's unfortunately for Plano, Lisle's been on top when it comes to defense, but there have been 2 lead changes because Lisle's kind of struggling to get the ball in the basket so far. A lot of defensive rebounds on the side of Plano.
We've also seen a lot of fouls drawn against Plano too, and that's putting them to the line, and that's not really good for them, as we just saw before the break. Adalberto Gutierrez was pretty strong from the paint. We'll see more of him tonight. He's been a strong overall offensive player, as Masura holds on to the ball, putting it over to Redmond. Back to Ryan Gillen. Redmond now back to Gillen. Masura now looking for somebody to pass to. Contreras getting in the way. Both Contreras and Marcus McKinney from Plano are showing off a bit of defensive skills tonight, as Gillen tries to put up 2 extra points, but the ball lands into the hands of Elijah Masonette from Plano as we go the other way. We're going to look at Brandon Contreras now with the ball. Putting the ball to David McKinney. Redmond trying to block David up, can't quite do that. McKinney to Masonette, back to McKinney. Trying to keep that ball alive and kind of climbing up the bleachers over there. Couldn't quite do it, that was David McKinney.
Lyle's defensive pressure on that outside of the arc still getting to Plano. We might have to wait till they go into the locker room and draw something up new before we see maybe Plano come back from it.
Absolutely. Trying to put the ball up. That was Mark McGrath, couldn't quite do that. Holding on to the rebound, that was Elijah Masonette, as David McKinney holds on to the ball, trying to find a way to get around Derek Redmond. Passes it back to Masonette. Masonette trying to put it up for 3, couldn't quite do that. And almost passed to himself. Number 21, Brian O'Connell, lost the ball, and Brandon Contreras picked it up out of his hands and put it up for 2 extra points, putting Plano up for 2 more points, but answering right back for Lisle. That was Redmond made that shot, I'm sorry. David McKinney, backcourt now. Lisle kind of picking up its defense game as ball gets passed over to Anthony Martinez. He drains a free 3-pointer. 18-16 now, Plano over Lisle. 5.5 minutes remain here in the second period. Holding onto the ball, kind of being turned around. That's Nick Masura. Putting the ball over to Gillen, back to Redmond. Brandon Contreras trying to block Gillen there, couldn't quite do that as he passes the ball, and the ball now finds its way into the hands of Derek Redmond. We're gonna see a jump ball call against Lisle, actually.
So Plano will inbound.
Bringing the ball down court, that's McKinney and Marcus McKinney. McKinney putting the ball over to Ramirez. Ramirez trying to drive up through the paint, couldn't quite do that with the rebound. That was Mark McGrath. Holding onto the ball now, that's Trevor Stitt. Passing the ball to Gillen. Gillen trying to drive up in the paint, couldn't quite do that with the rebound. That's Marcus McKinney, or Anthony Martinez. And putting the ball up with that rebound. That was Martinez. Derek Redmond now with the ball to Gillen. Gillen couldn't really do anything with that as Redmond gets called for traveling. Plano ball.
Well, the excitement meter's a little bit more on Plano's side. We almost saw Martinez there get up and almost dunk it off of the tip-in.
You know, coaches don't mind the dunk as long as you make it, though.
You can tell that Plano's getting a little bit excited. They might have this.
They're bringing their confidence as we see David McKinney laying it up for 2 extra points, kind of pulling ahead now. It's about a 6-point game.
Well, with excitement comes speed, and with speed comes, well, beating defenses like we're watching right now.
Absolutely. Mark McGrath now with the ball, losing it between his legs, holding onto the ball or trying to grab the ball. David McKinney getting nearly wrestled to the ground there by Mark McGrath. A little aggravated, maybe. That's Mark McGrath's first foul, team's 5th, so Lyle's kind of catching up. His players been playing conservatively through the majority of this period. 4 minutes now in the second period.
Well, teams who kind of flip-flopped. Lyle now finds itself in a situation it's not used to, and that's getting beat in the paint. You're seeing a lot of foolish fouls, and right there you're seeing a lot of aggravation and aggression, either towards oneself or towards the other team, like what Mark McGrath almost got in trouble for.
Lyle kind of losing its footing. They were playing confidently defense-wise in the beginning of this game throughout the first period, but now they're trying to find a way to combat Plano's newfound speed as David McKinney drives up lane, passing it to Ramirez. Ramirez picking up that basket with David McKinney on the assist. Ball with the stick to Masura. To Gillen now. Gillen trying to go into the paint, couldn't find a way to do with that. Pass the ball to Stitt. Ball finds its way into the hands of Masura. Masura missing the 3-point shot. And ball out on Plano.
So the ball went off a back of a Plano defender.
That'll put the ball in the possession of Lyle. Trevor Stitt with a good catch there. With a shot, with a pass all the way across court. The ball went to Ryan Gillen to Stitt. Gutierrez now. Ryan Gillen back to Masura. Masura to Gutierrez. Gutierrez putting it up for 2. Can't quite do that. With the rebound, that's Gutierrez again. We're going to see Lyle drawing a foul there. Second foul on Mark McGrath as he picks up the 6th foul for Lyle this game.
We saw Marcus McKinney step in and be able to draw that charge. Very heads-up defensive play for him, and McGrath for Lyle is going to take a seat on the bench for a little bit as he's getting into foul trouble.
Ramirez now passing the ball to David McKinney. McKinney trying to put it up for 2. Well, basket's in, but he's going to be called for traveling, so not good.
Slid a little bit too much while he was in the paint. Tried that fake out and kind of faked himself out a little bit.
Getting a little excited, but the ref caught it. So good reffing on his part as Derek Redden brings the ball down court, passing the ball to Hain. Hain to Gillen. Gillen to Gutierrez. Back to Hain. Redmond now with the ball. Hain to Gutierrez. Gutierrez from the 3-point line. We see him strong here before as he drains another 3-pointer. 24-19. Lyle is down by 5 points. David McKinney calling for formation to change as Derek Redmond's looking for anything he could do to get the ball away from McKinney. Brendan Contreras trying to call Gutierrez on a 3-pointer, couldn't quite do that. Ryan Gillen now with the ball, finding his way in through the paint. Hain now to Gutierrez again from the 3-point line, bouncing off the rim with the rebound. That's Hain. Stitt now trying to shoot at the ball himself, getting caught up in a bunch of Reapers.
I'm impressed by the fact that no matter how much we saw Plano kind of take away with the game a little bit there, one thing has never fallen short, and that's Lyle's ability to get that offensive rebound and continue to get its team more opportunities to get the basket.
Lyle's been doing phenomenally with their offensive rebounds. We even saw Adalberto Gutierrez get his own rebound a couple times tonight. Trevor Stitt missing both of the shots, while making his first. And missing the second as Redmond puts the ball over to Gutierrez, proving himself to be very confident from the 3-point line as we see him there right now, trying to be blocked. That's Elijah Masonette. Stitt now to Hain. Gutierrez keeping the ball alive for Lisle, working his way around the arc. Redmond now to Gillen. Gillen to Gutierrez. Hayne having a little bit of trouble trying to get around Plano's defense. Gillen trying to go up, but that'll be Marcus McKinney taking a step out for Plano.
Good catch by the ref, just barely caught that back heel. So Lisle ball.
About 50 seconds remain here in the half. Plano still in the lead by 4 points, 24-20 over Lisle. Redmond now. It's Masura. Masura draining a three-pointer.
That's his second of the night. So far, he's only missed once.
Plano's offense might be have a little bit of wind taken out of their sails after this little offensive drive we've seen by Lisle, but
well, both teams have been running up and down the court very fast. The only one that really made a person change was Lisle. Substitution, that's the word I was looking for.
there it is.
But yeah, Lisle threw in 2 fresh feet. Plano's been playing with the same basic 5 guys so far the entire game, and they're playing a very fast-paced game, which could get them into trouble later.
It could really tire him out unless Plano has a different lineup, end game lineup. And that was David McKinney making his first free throw as we see a substitution coming in now for Plano. Now that we're talking about that, that's Jermaine Boyd now on the court. McKinney looking to make a second free throw. Ball goes and makes it. Trevor Stitt now. Probably looking to ride out the clock and make a final 3-pointer as long as Gutierrez is on the court.
Be great for morale if they could pull off the 3 here and go to half tied.
Well, here we go. We're about to see something here as ball gets kind of caught up, but eventually put out. I couldn't quite see who knocked it out.
A little bit of discussion just to make sure they got the right call. They're going to put 1.5 seconds back on the clock, if I heard that correctly.
For
Inbound.
one final play. And that final shot was made by Trevor Stitt of Lisle, and that's the end of the first half. Your current score now, before we go to break, Plano Reapers 26, Lisle Lions 25. Keep it here on Fox Valley TV.
Real men know that getting tested is the way to take care of their families. That's why real men wear gowns. For a list of the tests you need, go to ahrq.gov.
No, what'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Mom, I'm on the phone!
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone.
All right.
Sorry.
Sorry. Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Welcome back to the Plano High School. After the first half, the current score is Plano 26, Lisle Lions 25. And they made one final shot before the end of the period, and I think it's pretty exciting. Evan, how about you?
I mean, game's been super close. There's been 4 lead changes so far. There's never been a lead that's been more than 8 points, but the Reapers did have a little bit of a pull away there where Lisle were able to claw their way back. The Lions claw their way back. But that being said, Plano did have that run, and Lisle needs to be very careful about that happening again because it very much easily could with Plano's offensive push and kind of pull back out and then try to push against style. That try and error ways of working it can find spots in the defense that, you didn't even know you had, and they can pull away with a pretty big lead if that ever happens.
Well, Plano's got that lead once, and I'm pretty sure they can do it again, but Lisle won't let that happen, as we've seen with just that final play in the second period. So as Lisle has the possession of the ball now, we'll see what will come of it as Derek Redmond holds on to the ball, putting it to Gutierrez now. Back to Derek Redmond. It's Nick Masura putting the ball over to Adalberto Gutierrez. Gillen to Masura. McGrath back to Masura. Ryan Gillen now trying to find his way around Elijah Mason net. Masura now. Gillen holding onto the ball, puts it to Gutierrez. However, in the way, that was Anthony Martinez. Gutierrez to Redmond. Trying to sink a three-pointer from the outside. That was Ryan Gillen, couldn't quite do that. Gutierrez from the three-point arc, helping Gillen out there with a bit of morale. Lisle put in the lead now, 28-26, as David McKinney holds onto the ball. Trying to drive up the lane. That was Anthony Martinez, couldn't quite make anything of that shot as Derek Redmond showing off a bit of speed. And that three-pointer was good by Nick Masura. That's his second three-pointer of the game, if I'm not correct.
Well, sounds like Lisle's got a pretty good game plan of what they want to do, and that's pull it out around the arc and test their luck with the three-point basket. So far, it's been working.
Lisle's definitely putting their best three-pointers up, but we've seen Plano show some of their strength in the paint. That three-pointer, though, that was a direct call out to Lisle. That shot was made good by Will Benson.
Well, you got to be able to show the other team that you can still compete even though they change game plans. Good heads-up play by Plano to get that shooter open.
Well, here we go. That was McGrath putting that ball up after it finally decided to tip into the bucket there. McGrath. David McKinney to Martinez. To Martinez. Ramirez to Martinez as Ryan Gillen missed that layup with the rebound, though. That was Mark McGrath trying to get it up there, couldn't quite do that as David McKinney brings the ball down court, trying to drive up a lane, loses the ball.
And that foul will be on number 5, Derek Redmond for Lisle. His second, team's first.
Showing off a bit of height there with that catch. That was Anthony Martinez putting the ball over to Ramirez. McKinney now trying to find his way past Redmond. It's a very difficult thing to do as Ryan Gillen pulls away with the ball. Puts it up for two, makes it for two. Again, that was Ryan Gillen.
Ryan Gillen just recorded with that his 4th steal of today.
Well, that was McKinney trying to do a great job getting around Gillen there. Kind of tripping him up. It's going to be a foul on Lisle, though. Derek Redmond picking up his 3rd foul in the second already in this 3rd period.
Well, he did a great smart move, and that's he went directly to the bench and told coach that, hey, that's my 3rd. And so he'll sit, and they know for sure they're saving him later.
From the three-point line, that was Marcus Ramirez. Plano's kind of picked up the safe defense. They haven't really been fouling that often in the final part of the second period. And as we're about 4.5 minutes into the 3rd period, they've kind of picked up a conservative defense play here as Gutierrez puts the ball over to Masura. To Gillen to Masura again. Finding his way through the paint. Well, it was McGrath, couldn't quite make that shot.
Big block from Massinette.
Putting the ball in play is Masura and taking a three-point shot right out of the gates. That was Ryan Gillen, couldn't quite make that shot, being brought down court. Now that's Will Benson.
And looks like 24, Ryan Gillen for Lisle will pick up that foul. So Gillen only picking up his second, but coach gonna pull him back in. Save him for a little bit later. You can tell already that Lisle is getting a little game plan, looking forward to the second half of the fourth. There'll be an illegal screen on Plano.
That was Will Benson. So we're going to see Lisle in possession of the ball. Current score with about 4 minutes, 7 seconds remaining. Lisle 35, Plano 32. That's Stitt with the ball. Trying to find somebody to pass to. That's Gutierrez trying to find a lane. Getting in the way, that was Elijah Masonette. With the rebound though, David McKinney. McKinney trying to put it up for 2 points, misses the layup. Keeping it alive for Lisle, that's McGrath.
Something that I don't think gets noticed enough is Anthony Martinez's vertical, which is something to be impressed by. He gets up to the rim for every tap in that he can get, and he can do damage to teams just by offensive rebounding.
It's a very important asset to have on your team, and Plano's definitely lucky to have him. As Missouri puts the ball to Stitt. To O'Connell now, as going for the drive and putting it up was Mark McGrath. 3 minutes remain here in the third period. Lisle still in the lead by 4 points, taking that three-pointer. Couldn't quite make it though. It was Will Benson. We've seen him confident from the three-point line, just couldn't quite make that one. Ball again to Mark McGrath, but knocking over Masonette. So 2 players on Lisle's team have racked up 3 fouls already, and one of them is Mark McGrath. The other one's Derek Redmond, who's sitting on a bench right now.
Well, like I was saying earlier, it seems like Lisle has sort of gotten a game plan of wait for now, keep the score where it's at, but to save those main players for later on. I guess they're expecting this game to end close later on in the end of the fourth.
Especially with what we've seen Plano doing in the early part of the half. That's McGrath pulling away with the ball, and he puts that one up for 2 points. Again, that's Mark McGrath, and he's put up.
Massionette trying to draw the charge again. Didn't quite get his feet set, so he will be called for that foul.
As I was saying, Mark McGrath has made his 6th point, and that was his 7th now with that free throw made. Good. But the tables have kind of turned. We've seen Plano in the first half, they kind of came away with an offensive rush, but now we see Lisle kind of rallying back. They have an 8-point lead, and they're maintaining and keeping it.
Well, Lisle was expected to kind of pull away with this one, but you know, that's just numbers on paper. What comes down to it is when, you know, they come out of the locker room down and make this great comeback and hold on to the lead, which is now up by 8 points.
Very impressive play as Stitt now with the ball, putting it over to Masura. Masura analyzing his situation, puts the ball over to O'Connell as Gutierrez holds onto the ball about 35 feet away from the net. Hayne now back to O'Connell, across the court to Masura. Stitt to Masura, screening Masura, that's Masonette. Masonette with a, trying to tap the ball away, just kind of a game of pickle going on down there, but Masonette can't get away with the ball.
Had a smart timeout called by Lisle. Seemed like Trevor Stitt was a little bit trapped down in that corner.
It was a rather wise timeout for Lisle, but looking at Plano at least, they have dumbed down in terms of fouling. I mean, they fouled at least 7 or 6 times rather in their first half, but they've really started playing conservatively as they have 2 fouls now to Lisle's 4 at this half.
Well, Plano has definitely had a little bit smarter mindset. They've been really chilling to the basket. And, you know, that cool-headed of offense can then lead to a little bit more calm and focused defense, which we've seen, big blocks, and we've seen them step into situations in which they can draw that charge, make Lisle do something a little bit foolish that they don't want to. And, that's how they can get teams back on their feet and pull out a win here. So Lisle just needs to make sure that they don't let Plano make them make mistakes.
Absolutely. McKinney pulling away with the ball there, trying to get the ball away. Eventually does. That was Grant Hain from Lisle trying to pick the ball up too. Doesn't do that as McKinney holds on to the ball, pushing it over to Ramirez. Ramirez to Benson. McKinney again retaining the ball, keeping it away from Stitt. Ramirez running down to the paint, can't quite do that. Passes the ball off to Benson. Benson still holding on to it as O'Connell from Lisle doing a great job blocking. Ramirez now putting the ball over to McKinney. That was Marcus McKinney making that two-point shot. 35 seconds ticking down here in the third period. Ball nearly out, but not quite, as Stitt holds on to the ball now. Ball goes back to Masura. Wide open, that's Brian O'Connell, but Adalberto Gutierrez couldn't quite make the shot. Let's see what the ref has to say about this. That's going to be a foul on Marcus McKinney.
It's his second, Plano's third of the half.
And somebody Plano definitely doesn't want to see at the line. That's Adalberto Gutierrez. He's been solid except for that one shot.
Well, he's normally been a strong shooter, but we have seen him miss so far at least one field goal for every two that he's got.
Well, he puts up that second one.
Free throw, I should say.
McKinney now putting the ball over to Masonette. Masonette to Ramirez. Ramirez trying to shoot it for two. Bounces off the backboard. Rebounded by McKinney, but wrestling away with the ball. That was Stitt.
Lisle kind of proving themselves, making sure that Plano knows that, they're going to hold on to this lead no matter what. There's a lot of aggressive defense, and I think they do need to be careful, though, because that can translate to fouls.
And Lisle definitely doesn't want that, especially with the offense that we've seen from Plano. It's 2 seconds now. McKinney making his final shot of the period, and that's it. At the end of your third period, Lisle leads over Plano 41-34. You're watching Fox Valley TV.
Real men know that getting tested is the way to take care of their families. That's why real men wear gowns. For a list of the tests you need, go to ahrq.gov.
No, what'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Mom, I'm on the phone!
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone. All right.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Welcome back to the Plano Gymnasium. Currently, the Lisle Lions are leading over the Reapers 41-34. But as the fourth period set to start, Plano's been showing off a bit of offense during at least the first half. They've kind of brought it back a little bit in this third period, but now it's the fourth period. Anything can happen.
Well, so far they're not getting a lot of the shots to fall as much as they'd like to, but Plano is calming down and finding, where they need to be and able to get the victory. Lisle's been hot too, though. They've been, jumping inside, making a lot of moves around the paint, and have been successful there. Once Plano starts making baskets, we could see this game come down to the wire.
Well, Plano can't make baskets. The ball's not in the possession as the ball goes to Derek Redmond of Lisle. Back to Masura, back to Gillen, to Masura, again to Redmond. Plano sort of picking up the double team from Contreras and Masonette. Masura putting the ball over to Gutierrez. A very strong play from inside and on the arc as Gutierrez puts up 2 points for Lisle, and he's going to pick up a couple of free throws along the way.
And that foul will be on Brandon Contreras, which is his second foul, Plano's third of the half. Plano's fourth of the half, I'm sorry.
And Gutierrez sinking his free throw, putting Lisle's lead up to 44, a 10-point lead. McKinney putting the ball over to Contreras now. Ramirez looking to go down in the paint, but Masura's in the way, can't quite get around him. Puts the ball back over to David McKinney. Holding onto the ball now, it's Contreras. Back to McKinney. Confident from the three-point line, couldn't quite make that though. That was Masonette. Derek Redmond walking across the court. Here again we see Contreras and Masonette doing apparently, which is a very effective Plano defense strategy. That's their double team.
Well, if the score stays the way it is, Lisle is very happy with that, and Plano knows that, so that double team is going to come out as a show of Plano's kind of defensive aggression to try to get back in this game.
Absolutely, and for the race for that rebound, Plano pulls away. David McKinney trying to put it up, gets blocked by Redmond. Derek Redmond picking up his fourth foul now.
Got a little bit of Plano arm. Hard to get away with that cleanly on a fast break.
And here we see David McKinney. Can't quite make that first free throw. He's got one more to go. Who knows? Maybe this free throw is exactly what Plano needs to get that morale boosted, and maybe they'll start sinking shots. And that's one to go.
Now, if I'm correct, that's the first point that's been scored by Plano. Not only in the fourth period, of course, because it just kind of started, but in the last 5 or so minutes.
That shot put up, though, I mean, it could do anything for Plano's morale. Gutierrez now over the court to Masura, to Stitt. And putting the ball up, that was Ryan Gillen with the assist by Mark McGrath. Working his way around Lisle defense. Ball bouncing off the foot into the hands of Marcus McKinney. Ramirez now to Masonette, trying to work around McGrath. Ramirez now putting the ball over to Chavez from the three-point line. Ball bouncing in and out of the rim, but Chavez has the rebound and putting that one up for 2 points. That was Sergio Chavez. And completing that three-point play, that's Sergio Chavez.
Well, right now it's an only 8-point game.
It's bound to get very exciting as we come down to the wire here in conference basketball. Working his way out across the arc, that was Gillen putting the ball over to Stitt. Gutierrez back to Stitt. To Gutierrez again. To Masura, to Stitt again. Marcus McKinney kind of reaching there for the ball. Gutierrez now kind of backing up into Masonette. Can't quite get around, but pulling away with that basket, that was Mark McGrath.
Gutierrez grabbing his own rebound there.
We've seen him do that a couple times before. And it's again Gutierrez pulling away with the rebound.
He's been a key factor in Lisle kind of staying on their feet, keeping this lead. Because he just doesn't give up no matter what the situation is. And timeout called by Plano.
Well, it's definitely a decent time for a timeout. About 4 minutes, 45 seconds remain here in the fourth period, and Plano needs to find their rally point here.
Well, so far Plano has been, trying to step outside, and we've seen them get a little bit aggressive on when Lyle's bringing it up. But right now, they need a little bit of wind in their sails. You can tell that they're getting tired, like we were saying earlier. They just had the main five kind of on the floor. We've seen a lot of McKinney. We've seen a lot of, a few players now, more than I can really name. But like I said, we've only really seen the same five with the occasional switch in and out of Marcus McKinney. So the two McKinneys are putting in work for Plano. But they just need some more wind in their sails to be able to kind of pick this up and push into the 10-point deficit they currently have.
And what we've seen Lisle throughout most of the game, they've been switching in and out a couple of their players, rather if it's a strategic sub, if your player has about 3 or 4 fouls, they'll be doing that. As that shot was made good from the outside by Marcus McKinney. But they've been keeping their players fresh, Lisle has. As Gutierrez with the ball now, driving his way up lane, very confident. Can't quite get the ball, but with the rebound, that's Marcus Ramirez. Ramirez putting the ball over to Masonette. Masonette trying to find something to do with it. Passes it over to Marcus McKinney. Ramirez now to Masonette. Masonette trying to put it up for 2. Bounces it right off the backboard and through the hoop for 2 more points. Lyle's now in the lead, but only by 5 points. 48-43, with 3:50 remaining here. Gutierrez across the court to Gillen. And with that steal, that was number 20, Sergio Chavez. Couldn't quite get that up. Couple players down now. Ref's definitely gonna have to say something about that.
Lisle ball for the inbound. Like you said, it's only a 5-point game. Lisle was falling apart there for a little bit. Full court press.
Well, there we see we have McGrath and Redmond, but that ball was put up by Ryan Gillen. Very confident throughout the whole night. But no, as I stated, that Derek Redmond's back in for Lisle, and he's both strong on the offense and the defense. He's small and he's quick, and that's dangerous.
Going to be a foul on number 11 for Lisle, Masura. That's his first of the game.
And
that's the 7th for Lisle.
On the line now for Plano, that's Marcus Ramirez. Couldn't quite make that first shot, but pulling away with the rebound. Getting 2 points, that's Anthony Martinez.
With a big hook shot, and could be a tough call. They're gonna call it on Plano. Masonette just didn't quite have his feet set.
That's Redmond now. Putting the ball to Masura. Redmond kind of looking away, managed to get that ball though. Gillen now trying to find his way. There's the Plano double team again.
Plano needs that ball back.
We're going to see a lot of here. We're going to see a lot of ball handling coming from Lisle, but if they're confident, they'll take that shot and it'll extend their lead. So Plano will have a little bit more to work for as about 2.5 minutes remain here in the game. Ball gets knocked out.
Well, even just knocking the ball out of bounds can build a little bit of defensive momentum, especially slowing down the game a little bit more, which so far when the game's been slowed down, Plano's been benefiting. Foul is going to be on 32, Marcus McKinney for Plano. It's his second. Plano racks up their 6th foul.
Well, we're definitely going to start seeing Plano playing a little bit more aggressively. Eh? They want that ball back really bad, and it's about a 5-point deficit with 2.5 minutes remaining here as Gillen drives up lane, but ball kind of bounces out on Plano.
Well, like we said earlier, even though that ball is gets knocked out, I can still kind of boost morale for the defense, showing that they can stop whatever offense is happening. And I was just about to say, and maybe force some interesting passes. That one going over the head of Redmond. Plano ball.
But Ramirez now putting the ball over to Masonette. Masonette still retaining control of it. Trying to hook it up there. That was Anthony Martinez, couldn't quite make it. Redmond now trying to find his way down to Plano court. 2 minutes remain now in the game. Masura being screened by McKinney, Marcus McKinney. Masura again, back to Gillen. To McGrath. Gutierrez trying to put it up, but not if. Gutierrez's third foul of the game now. So we're going to see Marcus Ramirez here at the line.
Gutierrez currently has 16 points for Lisle.
Ramirez putting that one up, bridging the gap between the scores. 50-46 as 1 minute 45 seconds remain as Ramirez puts up his second shot, and that one drains in. 3-point deficit.
Well, if there's one thing I've noticed, it's Plano has been definitely cooler under pressure than Lisle has. That could translate to a possible win.
That was Redmond kind of tripping up. Sometimes you're a little fast for yourself as he drives up lane, putting the ball over to Ryan Gillen. Gillen kind of juking around, but they're going to be a foul call.
Fantastic, fantastic defense by Masonette, drawing the charge. Great move, very calm and collected basketball.
Very, very smart play by Masonette.
That coming from a junior too, so possibly only his first year in a varsity setting, is able to keep a calm head when playing. That's something that you just can't teach.
That's an important trait. You just gotta respect that, especially coming from a junior. And like you said, it might be his first year with the varsity team, as we're gonna see a timeout called on Plano.
So that full timeout by Plano is a little bit rushed. So far, the ball's been on the floor a lot more than you're used to in a basketball game. A lot of strips, a lot of steals. Like I was talking earlier, number 24 for Lisle, Ryan Gillen, has racked up 4 steals so far. Expect him, 5 steals so far. Expect him to pull in a few more. But Plano's been keeping the ball handling pretty solid so far. Not a lot of bad passes. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the rebound. But, we've been seeing that defense from Lisle kind of pressure the Plano offense, but yet they still keep their heads calm.
You said it yourself, too. Plano's been keeping the ball to themselves. We haven't really seen Ryan Gillen come away with the ball for a while. Plano's really keeping the ball under their control. They're retaining good ball control, especially with a 3-point deficit with about a minute and a half remaining. They got to just keep that cool head like you're saying. And if they keep that cool head and they keep their morale up, anything's bound to happen. And they might even get this game to go into overtime if they can.
Well, it's only a 3-point game. Neither team has really dominated from around the arc, but this could be one for the books.
Got to keep an eye out for 2 high-point scores from both teams as that 3-pointer is made by Anthony Martinez, and he ties up the game. I was about to say 2 high-point scorers from both teams. I was going to say Anthony Martinez for Plano and Adalberto Gutierrez for Lisle. Now, they're both on the court, so expect to see a little bit of drama as 60 seconds is on the clock now. And the end of this game, ball goes again, well, not again, but the ball goes to Marcus McKinney.
You saw that ball steal by Masonette on the other end of the court. There's going to be a foul called on number 11 for Lisle, Nick Masura. Sending Plano to the line. Taking the shots is Marcus Ramirez, who's been strong from the line.
This is definitely not a position Lisle wants to find themselves in, especially after Ramirez makes that first shot. If Plano can keep that ball under control, Lisle will be a little nervous as Lisle calls a timeout. That's a really wise call.
Well, now you're kind of wondering, is your team in the right position to be able to hold on? Plano is a team that has been relaxed all game. We were talking earlier about how they were maybe getting a little bit tired. We saw a few new faces kind of in that third. You could tell that both coaches knew that this game was going to come down to the fourth period. I don't know if either coach really wanted it to be this close, but you've seen Lisle playing a little bit of relaxed offense in the beginning there in order to save some players for later.
And I've also said it, Lisle's been kind of keeping in consistent subs through both of their throughout the whole game. We've seen a number of players come in and out, and they've been coming in at times when they're really needed. So you're going to see a lot of Lisle's stronger players coming out in the end, but you got to keep an eye out for Derek Redmond now. He has 4 fouls, and if he gets fouled out here at the end of the game, and if he's needed, it's not going to wind up good for Lisle.
I'd expect to see the starting 5 from both teams step back out onto the court and face each other to finish off this game.
It'll be a really good game plan. You got 5 of your strongest players on the court. Anything good can happen. It'll make for a great game of basketball, I'll tell you that, Evan. And making his second free throw is Marcus Ramirez, drawing ahead 2 points of Lisle. 52 seconds now. That's Redmond with the ball, putting it over to Gillen, back to Redmond. Redmond calling for Masura to come a little bit forward, pass the ball to Gillen. To Masura now. Masura trying to find his way around Masonette. Gutierrez now to Gillen. We see a little bit of a duck and dodge from Gillen there as the ball gets rebounded by Masonette.
And Plano feeling very good about themselves as they are forcing Lisle to send Plano to the line.
And that's Derek Redmond's 5th foul, so we're going to be seeing him take a step out for the rest of the game.
Lisle just pulled in their 10th foul.
Definitely not a situation you want to be, because if you have another strong shooter, Anthony Martinez, who's racked up 15 points, make that 16 now for Plano, you don't want to be seeing him on the line.
Of all the people that you were going to foul, you can tell that Lisle hasn't really thought about who they wanted to. They didn't think they'd be in this position.
Second shot goes up, and that shot is made good by Martinez. Very strong player from inside the paint, outside the paint, and even on the three-point line. Redmond now. Basket's not going to count as we see a timeout called by Lisle.
Lisle called the timeout a little bit early there. Shot went up. Looked very confident. Unfortunately, coach called timeout. Funniest thing about that, probably to call the same play that he just witnessed now work. Unfortunately, you called the timeout a little bit too early.
Well, you're going to be kicking yourself after that one, but you can't get yourself down as a coach. You got to start. You got to get your team rallied, and we're going to see a lot of that coming from Plano here in a bit. As long as Plano can keep that ball under the control, they can keep time management, and they prevent damage control.
Well, so far we've seen a very frustrated Lisle team, and Plano's defense has had everything to do with that. Normally, situations that Lisle's been in, they've been able to drive to the basket a lot, and then when they can't, be able to walk back around the 3-arc and find a different direction, step back into the paint. They have not been able to do that at all this game, and you can tell that a lot of players are getting kind of frustrated. There were a lot of fouls because of that, just because they're not used to seeing a defense and offense similar to themselves. I think that whoever comes out of this competition, the winner, might be the one to hold on to a possible conference lead later on in the season.
Absolutely. But both of these teams want to come out as winners. We've seen strong basketball come from both teams as Redmond drives up the court, puts it over to O'Connell, back to Redmond to O'Connell again. O'Connell driving up lane, loses control of the ball. It's going to be a call against Brian O'Connell now.
Marcus Ramirez racked up his 3rd steal with that. They'll send another strong shooter to the line. So Lisle, you can tell, in full-on panic mode.
Lyle's definitely starting to sweat with 6.5 seconds remaining. In worst case scenario, let's say that Ramirez makes both of these shots. That's his first shot, 55 to 50, making at least 5 points within 6 seconds. It's nearly impossible.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but so far, Marcus Ramirez has only missed 1 free throw out of the 7 he's had.
That was McGrath trying to put it up with 3. Couldn't quite do that, but that's the end of the game. That final shot by McGrath was your final shot. And at the end of this game, the Plano Reapers come away with the victory, 56 over Lyle's 50. It was a really impressive game through and through.
All in all, both teams very strong. Both teams going to finish this record. I don't want to jinx anyone, but going to finish this season with most likely winning records. Both teams very strong in conference. You know, it was going to be a close game. Pretty much everybody who walked into the building kind of saw that one coming. Not so much coming down to only holding both teams to 56 to 50 points. You know, semi-low scoring game for these both teams, but fast-paced and exciting.
It was fast-paced and it was really exciting. And with this victory, Plano is now 5-2 in conference, and Lisle now put down to 5-2 themselves. And that's about all the time we have for tonight. The credits go out to our cameramen, Don Ottman and Victor Mejia, our producer, Mike Reynolds, and alongside me tonight, that was Evan Wiseman, and I'm Tom Moulding from Fox Valley TV.